what's up, y'all? It's Poppin' It's Steve about to react to this vid by Maybe Leah. This apparently involves some woman on TikTok who's trying to equate fatness with blackness, and it just comes across the wrong way. People are pressed about it as they should be, and they are calling her out on it. So let's see what everyone has to say. Let's watch.
Is how much people fucking hate fat people. They just hate them. Like there's like this weird hatred it feels almost akin to racism.
This is not like racism. It is racist, anti-fat.
I really hate when people do this. This is common. Racism is racism. It has to do with race. So you trying to make fatness associated with anti-blackness, this is a false equivalency, and it's not just the fat community who tries to bring black people into their struggle. This is very common with homophobia as well. People try to link that in with racism. It is not the same thing. Being fat, that's a choice. You feel me? We could get into a whole conversation about that. Sure, there are some exceptions, but for the most part, that is a choice. You are choosing to put that food in your mouth and get into that size. You chose to do that, girl. I didn't choose to be black. This is how I came out. So that's not the same thing. It's just not. You could lose all that fat. I'm gonna be black till I die. Being gay, that is not a choice, but you don't have to disclose to people that you're gay. I don't have to tell people what I do in the bedroom. That's a choice to disclose that to people. So I can choose to hide that from people if I don't want to be discriminated against because of it. I cannot hide my race. So trying to, make this correlation, I think it's insulting. And then it kind of sounds like you're trying to say that to be black means to be fat. That's what it's already giving. So that's also insulting. Yes, black people have higher rates of obesity. I will say that. I think a lot of people of color do, because also a lot of Mexicans. I live in LA. There's a lot of Mexicans here, and they also have high rates of obesity. So whatever. I agree with that, but still, you cannot just lump that into being black. It does not automatically mean that that's associated with fatness. There are lots and lots and lots and lots of black people who are in shape, who are very skinny. So I don't like this correlation, girl. She looked like that one cartoon character with the fucking bob. So I want to call you her name, but I don't know it. And I wish I knew it, because I would call you it. I would call you the obese version. And this is not fat phobia. It's just the fact that you are fatter than the girl with the bob who looks like you. So, yeah.
Fatness is rooted in anti-blackness. And the reason why people are pursuing thinness is because they're pursuing proximity to whiteness. The reason why people hate fat people is because people hate black people.
There's so many obese white people. Oh, so you can't equate thinness to whiteness either. This is just such a silly argument.
And appearing curvier, bigger is associated with blackness, especially black women, and that's why they're discriminated in the workplace, overly sexualized, and this has gone back for centuries and centuries. All systems of oppression, capitalism, sexism, racism, it all comes back to white supremacy.
And this is the last one on pause. This is just so stupid. So there are a lot of black people in general who don't care for being fat and being overweight. So are you saying that those black people are also anti-black? So if you have a guy who's like, I don't want to date fatter women, he's anti-black, but he's like, I love black women, I date black women, but I want to date fat women, he's automatically anti-black?
Which is the foundation of the fabric of America and rules every sector and aspect of our society.
I never thought a day will come where I'll be trying to connect the dotted lines between fatphobia and anti-blackness. Like, how did these people come up with these stakes? So she was replying to that guy's video that was basically complaining about how fat people are hated. That this hatred of fat people can be compared to racism. And she said, yes, it actually is racism. So anti-fatness now is rooted in anti-blackness. So the way I'm understanding it, if I'm understanding it well, she's trying to say being fit is basically owned by white people, while being fat is basically owned by black people. Like, how do you come off trying to speak up for your group of people? Because I believe she's fat. I saw some of her videos.
Oh, she's fat.
How do you try to speak up for your people and end up sounding rude to the cis in the process? Because basically associating blackness with fatness, and I don't understand. How did you arrive at?
And you being a non-black person, but you fat. So how you trying to make the association and calling us fat as you sitting there fat? And this is not fat shaming. It's a fact. She's fat. This is a fact. So you just look crazy.
That like every black person she knows is fat. I'm just going to go right ahead and play people's stitches at this point.
Black people.
This just might be the perfect example of trying so hard to be woke and intellectual that you end up going full circle and falling right into holding a bigoted viewpoint. So if anti-fatness is rooted in anti-blackness, that means that hating fat people comes from hating black people, which means that being fat is a characteristic primarily associated with black people. You might need to go back to the drawing board with that idea.
It is racism and...
Sorry, I couldn't let you finish that dumbass statement because I'm personally tired of hearing this shit. Oh, and also, I will say this shit one last time. It's more like a question, but can anybody explain to me what anti-blackness is? Because if we're applying your logic, then all the black celebrities that have gotten in shape for movie roles are completely against black people. Usually the ones that advocate for a lot of black movements, so explain that shit to me. If the image of quote-unquote whiteness is being in shape, then all these fat motherfuckers are doing something wrong. I can't help but think that y'all are just using black people like... It's like y'all really be using black people as a template to talk about shit so people feel bad about it when in reality it has nothing to do with black people. Not to mention that it feels like the dude in the video that she's stitching is projecting hard as fuck, considering I have not met one person that has had a deep-rooted hatred for fat people.
Anti-fatness is rooted in anti-blackness.
Does anybody ever wonder when they watch these videos?
That shit is chronically
online.
online.
Black person? Can you imagine if someone was like, yeah, they don't like fat people because they don't like you. Like, you're a representation of fat people. What the
reason why people hate fat people is because people hate black people.
This is a really good example of oppression privilege. See, if you always say that you're oppressed, you never have to take responsibility for your situation in life. You can always blame race or sexism or misogyny or the patriarchy, and you can always be a victim.
Especially black women.
Wow, that's a lot of claims you made there. I wonder if you're going to provide evidence for a single one of them. No? What? You mean you can go online and make a bunch of claims and thousands of people will believe you, even if you provide no evidence or reasoning as for it being true? That's crazy. That's really crazy. I could not find any evidence for basically anything you said, such as obesity being associated with black people or associated with black women, or that fat phobia was driven by race. No evidence for it at all. I couldn't find it. I did find evidence that African American women have the highest rate of obesity or being overweight compared to other groups in the United States. 4 out of 5 African American women are overweight or obese. So there is that, right? So we can say maybe perhaps people will associate African American women with obesity, but that would be a correct stereotype. Just because something is a stereotype obviously doesn't mean it's wrong, right? If you can say, oh, well, I associate obesity, like I think black women are more obese. That's just true. There's nothing wrong with making that observation.
And that's why they're discriminated in the workplace, overly sexualized, and this has gone back for centuries and centuries.
Okay, even more claims with no evidence. So as far as discrimination goes, I found that self-reported discrimination in the workplace for black men and black women was about the same. And there's no evidence that that discrimination is pushed by fat phobia. The black woman being overly sexualized, that seems like a relatively arbitrary claim to make. If you're saying they're more sexualized than other groups, I would need to see proof of that. Most of the literature I could find related to that topic was about personal experiences and anecdotal evidence, which of course is very common in critical race theory, which is what this is.
Systems of oppression, capitalism, sexism, racism. It all comes back to white supremacy, which is the foundation of the fabric of America.
Yeah, see what I'm talking about? And where this gets weird is when it overlaps with critical fat theory. So she's saying fat phobia is racist, But what is fat phobia? Well, in an earlier video, she says,
Your parents would not buy any soda.
She said your parents were fat phobic if they didn't buy you any soda.
What?
I see other similar people, they say, I want to lose weight is fat phobic. Or they'll say,
You are losing weight because you want to feel better, be in less pain, be healthier, all of these things. That's fatphobic.
yeah, so the intertwining of critical race theory and critical fat theory is if you want to feel better, if you want to lose weight, if you want to be in shape, you're racist. You're a race bigot. Chew on those apples, buddy. You race for going to the gym, racist bigot, buddy. Yeah.
For not pumping your children with sugar. That's racist and fat phobic.
Hate fat people is because people hate black people and appearing curvier.
Alright, let's get something straight. Your comparison with fatness and blackness. Really?
Thank you. Fucking thank you. I was thinking that as well because as she's saying curvy, I'm just like, a lot of people in the fat community, they love to associate themselves with being curvy, and it is not the fucking same thing. This is thick. This is fat. These are very different things. And stop calling yourself thick and curvy when you look like that on the right. I'm just saying, because I feel like she's lumping thick people in with fat people, and it's not the same. Because I will also say, those statistics are based on the BMI that I don't feel like applies to black people, to be honest. So this thick woman would probably get her BMI checked and she's considered obese. I'm considered borderline obese. When I go and get my body fat measured, I'm considered pretty much, okay, I don't want to say I'm obese, but the numbers show that I'm like borderline obese. But if you head on over to my Instagram and you see my shape, my boobs are huge. I have a lot of fat stored in my titties, and I got a lot of fat stored in my thighs and my hips and my ass. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it's stored. The fucking machine that you get scanned, hey, you got a lot of fat, so you pushing, you're overweight. I'm definitely considered overweight. You're overweight and you're pushing obesity, but a woman will look like this. So these are things to keep in mind. I'm just throwing some facts out there for you that a lot of women, a lot of black women will have fat stored in certain places. And when we go and get our body fat measured, we're considered overweight, we're fat, we're obese. But you have other races, they go and they get the same test done and that's what they looking like. So I'm just saying, stop lumping us in with y'all when y'all looking like that. All right?
It's strange, okay? And also, people do not hate fat people because they hate black folks, right? They hate fatness because they associate fatness with being
I'm so glad he brought this up because I was thinking this.
Lazy, undesirable, all those things. That's pretty much it. And also, thickness and fat, those are two different things, right? Being thick and being fat,
but
two different categories, right? If you look on the right, that is fat. If you look on the left, that is thick or curvy. People will hate what is on the right, but they will still find what is on the left as attractive, right? They still find the thickness and the curves that you mostly see on black women, right, as attractive. It is not them saying that they hate black women because they find what is on the right as undesirable. That's pretty much it.
I guarantee you if she got her body fat scan, she would be considered overweight. I would bet my life savings on it. So those statistics that white boy just previously brought up, it kind of sound, I don't say kind of, it does sound bad. It's like, oh shit, all black women are just so fat. But it's like, this is what a lot of black women look like. And it's like, it's because we store fat very, very differently.
So why people hate fat
Not
people
all of us, obviously.
is because people hate black people and appearing curvier.
So you do know there's countries, that's with an S, plural, that does not have obesity. A bunch of black countries.
Anti-fatness is rooted in anti-black.
I'm so tired of all these BS arguments. People say, oh, beautiful at any size or any weight, whatever. I don't believe in the idea of fat phobia. I think that people need to be encouraged to try to take care of themselves and be healthy. I'm 45 and I'm 280
I got another point. I'm gonna
pounds
talk
or so.
about this video.
This is me when I was in my 20s. I was probably somewhere around getting close to 600 pounds. I had gastric bypass 23 years ago, and to be honest, it saved my life. Honestly, I think if people are encouraging others to just stay in their morbid obesity or whatever, that's the real oppression, because people aren't living their best life and like that.
It is racist.
So I know you've seen this floating around by now, but here's my question. Are they saying that fat people are a different race of people? Because that's race.
That's what
You're
saying.
dehumanizing them by saying they're a different race. Come on now. You guys are being incredibly insensitive and hypocritical. And you guys need to do better. Have a good night.
People and appearing curvy or bigger is associated with blackness, especially black women.
Really? Okay. I know a lot of people probably in the comments are gonna say like I'm being racist also. But let's just say one thing. If you're curvy, chubby, fat, if you want to say it like that, that doesn't mean like it's only associated with black people. Like you could be all that being white. And if you say like, you know, maybe she didn't mean that, she should have said that in her claim, because it seems like she was the one being racist.
Bro, these are grown-ass adults making these idiotic claims and then idiotic arguments and think that they basically just solved like the world's biggest mystery. You didn't, honey. You know what you ended up solving? That humans can be so stupid. Y'all gonna make this elaborate plan of freaking anti-fatness and anti-blackness, mix that all together to make an elaborate plan to say like, yeah, being fat and also being black is considered racist. If you don't like this fat person, then you're racist. You're just racist. You're racist. Like, let me say it again. You guys are grown adults making these idiotic claims that are obviously not true. Like, do you not have places to be? Do you not have people to see? Like, do you got errands to run?
No.
You guys seem to be living alone. You got bills to pay? You got taxes to pay? You guys look deceased. You guys look 50 years old. You got children? Take care of them children.
Go off, Gen Z. But yeah, just a very idiotic claim. I agree 1000%, and it's just offensive, actually. And yeah, I want her to not lump black women in with her fatness, because, like I said, a lot of black women who are curvy are still considered overweight. I just put up a fucking picture of me from 2017. I will put it on the screen. I know exactly how much I weighed around this time. Okay, I've always been very aware of my weight and getting like body scans and stuff, getting my body fat measured. I, in my adult life, have never been not considered overweight. And when I say that I've always been considered overweight, I'm going based on this body mass index chart. This is the chart that a lot of medical professionals will use. This is the chart that is used when you go and get your body fat tested, when you get it scanned. They go based on these figures. So when that white guy is showing those statistics and it's saying that, oh, every 4 out of 5 black women are overweight, these are the figures that they are going based on. So this picture that I'm showing you guys where I'm looking skinny mini, I think I look skinny in this picture. No, they consider me to be an overweight black woman. So therefore I would fall in that statistic and be of those 4 out of 5 black women who are overweight. When I went and got a body scan in this picture, which is like maybe me 15 pounds lighter than I am right now, I was still considered overweight. But as you can see in the photo that I will put on the screen, my boobs have a lot of fat and my booty got fat, okay? And this is pre-YouTube, by the way. No, this is just when I started YouTube. I started YouTube in 2016 and this was 2017. So I wasn't making a lot of money at all. I would put that out there. So that's why my hair is looking as busted as it is, because the money didn't start rolling in yet. Anyway, that's beside the point. The point that I'm trying to make is that black women who look like this will still be considered overweight. So this is curvy. I am considered a curvy black woman who is considered overweight. I was overweight then in that picture when I got my scan done. I was like barely overweight then. I'm definitely considered overweight now. But again, my fat is carried very differently. So I just don't think that's a fair comparison to make. A lot of black women are curvy. Not all, obviously, but a lot of them are. Okay. and you're trying to make this false equivalency and say, oh yeah, you curvy black women, y'all are associated with fatness. So this is the same thing. So if they don't like us fat women, then that means they don't like y'all. So they're being anti-black. No, it's not the same thing, sweetheart. It's just not. Just very stupid all the way around. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Let me know what other videos you're going to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.